Okay, and I'm on the final 2 questions. The first one comes from my mom. Hi, Mom and Dad, by the way. I never said that. I love you, and things are going well here. I haven't gotten sick at all, but you know me, I don't really get sick. So, knock on wood, I guess, but just be praying for that. And so far, things are great. And mosquitoes aren't even really an issue here, just so you know. So there's not too much of a problem with malaria. Not here anyways. It's not too bad. So, Mom, you asked me, how is worshiping on Sunday in church, or is there other worship during the week, and are the services similar, or how are they different than in the U.S.? So how they worship on Sunday, it's pretty similar to America. They have the same structure. It's like you get there and you do song and praise to start, and then you hear the preacher, and then you do the giving of tithing, of giving your money, and then you do greetings and all that, and then the service is kind of over. So in that way, it's very similar to the United States. There is other worship during the week sometimes. They do some of that, but that kind of differs between churches. But for the most part, it's usually just on Sunday. And are the services similar, or how are they different? So like I said, they're pretty similar. I would say that one of the biggest differences is preaching, because the preachers they're not equipped to preach. They often don't have degrees, and it's often men who are looking for a job and they decide, well, I think I can open up a church and start making money that way. So you can imagine where the problems arise from that. And oftentimes people are preaching or trying to preach, and they're not even really Christians. So you can imagine that can be an issue. And also, the way they worship is much different. It's much more of the gospel type in America, where they're jumping around and praising and clapping, and it's very upbeat, which I love. And so in that way, it's a lot different too. And yeah, the next question is from Al Fivehouse. He asked me, what local relationships have I formed with the people around, with my neighbors and the local people, and what and how do you feel when I'm with them? And actually, it's a good question, because we're doing an outreach with our neighborhood called Prayer, Care, Share. First you go out to your neighbors and you meet them and you tell them you want to pray for them, and is there anything that we can pray for? So we start praying for them for things, and we just show them a lot of care, that we love them as neighbors, and that we want to be there for them in any way that we can be, and be praying for them and for their needs and what they are asking God for. And then we want to share with them the gospel if they've never heard it, and let them know why we're here. And the whole point is for God and Jesus. So we have been forming local relationships. Our house has been forming relationships with our neighbors and getting to know the community. And like I said before, I've been establishing my relationship with the men in this house, who are 5 Ugandans from around the country. And so that's probably been the biggest way that I've established relationships with people that are from Uganda. And so at first when I was here, I felt very much like the outsider, like an American with Ugandans, like a white person with black people. And now I feel very much accustomed to their culture and accustomed to their company, and it's not as weird to me anymore. Still, there's the differences in culture that come up, and then I remember, oh yeah, I'm an American living in Uganda. But other than that, I feel very accustomed, and I feel just fine now. Before, 3 weeks ago, I probably wouldn't have said that. I felt very much like I was on the outside. One of the hardest things that I've been getting used to is whenever they speak to each other, they speak in their native tongue, which is Koli. And I can't understand it, obviously. So I always look at them and I say, guys, speak English. And then they'll speak English, and then I can understand what they're talking about. So sometimes I have to give them a hard time about that, because they forget that I'm there, and they leave me out of conversations sometimes. But I just remind them, and things are fine then. So that's it. I love you all, and thank you so much for your support, and I hope that me sharing with you was helpful, and I hope you enjoy the video that Al is putting together. Thank you, Al, for doing that. And send me an email or check out my blog too, because I'll be updating that weekly. I think I've been pretty consistent at that. Even if it's not a lot, I at least say something. So ask my parents about that. All right, I love you all. Bye.